order. Mr. Assistant Majority Leader, Senator Tom Ada, you are recognized.
Madam Speaker, notwithstanding the House rules, I move that we waive items 2 through 5.
And there are?
And that would be prayer by the chaplain, recitation of the Inifresi, singing of the Guam hymn and the national hymn.
Yes. On that motion, without any objections, so ordered. Can the clerk please take roll call?
Senator Tom Ada. Present. Senator Tony Ada. Senator Uggan. Vice Speaker Cruz. Senator Duenas. Senator Limtiaco. Senator McCready. Senator Morrison. Senator Munya Barnes. Senator Respicio. Senator Rodriguez. Senator Sinicolas. Speaker Wampak. Senator Yamashita. Madam Speaker, there is a quorum.
Thank you very much. Senator Ada, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I move to adopt today's session agenda dated July 10th, 2014.
On that motion, hearing no objections, so ordered. You still have the floor, Senator.
Madam Speaker, I move that we approve the Legislative Journal dated July 7th, 2014, subject to corrections.
On that motion, hearing no objections, so ordered. Senator.
Madam Speaker, there are communications and petitions, and I move that they be appended in today's session journal.
On that motion, no objections, so ordered. Assistant Majority Leader, on the next motion.
Madam Speaker, there are messages from Imagalahan Guahan, and I move that these messages from Imagalahan Guahan also be appended in today's session journal.
On the motion, hearing no objections, so ordered.
Madam Speaker, I move that we waive items 10 and 11. That's the reports of standing committees and the reports of select committees.
On that motion, hearing no objections, so ordered.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I move that bills introduced, numbers 377-32 COR through 380-32 COR, and resolution numbers 417-32 LS and 418-32 COR resolutions number 417-32 LS and resolutions 418-32 COR through 421-32 COR be given its first reading.
On that motion, hearing no objections, so ordered.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to excuse the members not present for today's session.
On that motion, no objections, so ordered.
Madam Speaker, I move that all congratulatory, commendatory, and condolence resolutions and legislative certificates introduced today and for the remainder of this legislative session be considered first read and adopted, and to allow the legal counsel to make technical corrections, and to add all senators as co-sponsors.
On that motion, no objection, so ordered. The chair recognizes Mr. Vice Speaker for legislative concurrence.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I move to place from the Committee on Appropriations, Public Debt, Legal Affairs, Retirement, Public Parks, Recreation, Historic Preservation, and Land the nominations as follows. Madam Speaker, about a month ago, Speaker Ben scheduled a hearing on both the Chamorro Land Trust Commission members, the Director of Land Management, and the Historic Preservation Trust members. Unfortunately, he fell ill, and so it was rescheduled. When he got better, he again scheduled the hearing, but unfortunately was not able to make the hearing day before yesterday. I chaired, as his vice chair, the committee hearings, and I now make the following nominations on behalf of the committee with the recommendation to do approve. First, I'd like to place the name of Michael J.B. Borja to serve as Director of Department of Land Management at the pleasure of the Governor. Amanda,
So on that motion, we'll do the director separately. So on that motion, objection, so ordered. Now you can go ahead and read the others.
to the Chamorro Land Trust, the names are as follows, Madam Speaker. Amanda Leongaro Santos to serve as a member of the Chamorro Land Trust. Pascuat V.A. Sablon to serve as a member of the Chamorro Land Trust. And Joseph I. Cruz to serve as a member of the Chamorro Land Trust. Tanamanda has, this is a reappointment. She has been on the Chamorro Land Trust for several years now. Mr. Pascuat Sablon was the former territorial
Land Use Commission. The Land Use
Planning Commission chairman, and has considerable experience at Department of Land Management. Mr. Joseph Cruz just retired after 40 years at the Department of Land Management, and he has served when he was an employee for the Chamorro Land Trust. And we had the hearings, and it was very favorable, and so the committee recommends that these three be confirmed to the Chamorro Land Trust.
So on the motion for placement of these three individuals into the Chamorro Land Trust Commission, no objections, so ordered.
And I also wanted just to make sure that the body knew, Madam Speaker, that the reason why it was urgent that we move on these is there's only 2 members currently on the board, and they've not been able to get a quorum for several months now, and we need to keep moving. Okay, and then also, yesterday we conducted hearings for the Guam Historic Preservation Review Board, and we heard testimony and received testimony from the following nominees: Richard K. Olmo to serve as the archaeological representative on the Guam Historic Preservation Review Board, Mr. Joaquin P. Paris to serve as a planning representative alternate of the Guam Historic Preservation Review Board, Polly Eric Forbes to serve as historic representative of the Guam Historic Preservation Review Board, and Mr. Mike McKeo to serve as an architect representative of the Guam Historic Preservation Review Board, Ms. Rebecca A.R. Duenas to serve as a member of as the Chamorro Culture Representative alternate on the Guam Historic Preservation Review Board. Ms. Duenas has been serving on the board since 2004. This is a renomination. Polly Eric Forbes served for many years until he became superior for the Capuchins, and he stepped down for a couple of years. And so he's coming back on the board. He has extensive experience on the Historic Preservation Review Board, and is probably the penultimate historian currently on island. Mr. Joaquin Paris is the only new member that is being nominated to the Historic Review Board, but has considerable experience with the federal government, and the director and the members of the board thought that he would make an excellent addition to provide that kind of insight. Richard Olmo has been on Guam for 22 years now. He's an archaeologist and has been on the review board for at least 6 or 8 years, and his is a reappointment. And so, Madam Speaker, those are the 5 nominees to the, Michael McKeo is also an architect and has been on the board and actually been chairman for, I think, 8 or 10 years now. His is a reappointment. And so the committee felt comfortable in its recommendation to confirm these 5 nominees to the board. As you can tell, with 5 nominees, the board has not been able to function because of they've had all these vacancies. So I want to thank you on behalf of the committee for calling this session to work on these confirmations, because these boards need to continue their work. And I only have one more nomination, Madam Speaker. David Jimenez was nominated by the governor to serve as a member of the Board of Equalization. Currently, in our review, there's only one member of the Board of Equalization. Mr. Jimenez would make 2. I've notified the Director of Land Management that he has to work with the governor to make sure that we get 3 more nominees, because as I understand it, the appraisals are going to be done next month. The hearings for the appeals of the Board of Equalization will be conducted in September and October, and in November, the Board of Equalization is supposed to be reporting out the new tax rates. So it's imperative that we get this board up and functioning at the earliest possible date. Madam Speaker, the committee reports will be online before the end of the day. They've been completed. We did conduct the hearings publicly the other day, and all of them were very positive. At that, Madam Speaker, I think my last nominee is the only one that I need to get on, and if there's no objection to it, David Jimenez to the Board of Equalization.
Thank you. So you're moving then that they be placed on the voting file.
Yes, please.
So on that motion then, without any objections, so ordered. Thank you, Mr. Vice Speaker. Senator Ada, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I move that we proceed to the voting file.
Before we do, can we continue first with waiving items 15 and 16?
Yes, I move that we waive items 15 and 16. That's the consent calendar and the second reading file.
Thank you. On that motion, no objections, so ordered.
And so now I move to proceed to the voting file.
Thank you. So we are now in the voting file. Can we please make sure? Okay, yes. So on the appointment of Mr. Michael J.B. Borja to serve as the Director of the Department of Land Management, I'm going to ask that we take roll call.
Senator Tom Ada.
Aye.
Senator Tom Ada, aye. Senator Tony Ada.
Aye.
Senator Tony Ada, aye. Senator Uggan. Senator Uggan, aye. Vice Speaker Cruz.
Aye.
Vice Speaker Cruz, aye. Senator Dueñas. Senator Dueñas, aye. Senator Limtiaco.
Aye.
Senator Limtiaco, aye. Senator McCready. Senator McCready, excused. Senator Morrison. Senator Morrison, aye. Senator Munya Barnes. Senator Munya Barnes, aye. Senator Respicio. Senator Respicio, excused. Senator Rodriguez. Senator Rodriguez, excused. Senator Sinicolas. Senator Sinicolas, aye. Speaker Wampat.
Again.
Speaker Wampat, aye. Senator Yamashita. Senator Yamashita, aye.
On the appointment of Mr. Michael J.B. Borja to serve as the Director of the Department of Land Management, he received 11 yea votes and 3 excused absence. Mr. Michael J.B. Borja is duly confirmed by this body. On the appointment of Amanda L.G. Santos to serve as a member of the Chamorro Trust. All in favor, please raise your hand. Ms. Amanda L.G. Santos received 11 votes and, of course, 3 excused absence. She is duly confirmed by this body. On the appointment of Pascual V.A. Sablon to serve as a member of the Chamorro Trust Commission, please raise your hand if you're in favor. Mr. Pascual Sablon also received 11 votes to serve as a member of the Chamorro Trust Commission and is duly confirmed by this body. On the appointment of Mr. Joseph I. Cruz to also serve as a member of the Chamorro Trust Commission, all in favor, please raise your hand. Mr. Joseph I. Cruz received 11 votes to serve as a member of the Chamorro Trust and is duly confirmed by this body. On the appointment of Mr. Richard K. Olmo to serve as the archaeologist representative of the Guam Historic Preservation Review Board, all in favor, please raise your hand. Mr. Richard K. Olmo received 11 votes and to serve as the archaeologist representative of the Guam Historic Preservation Review Board, so he is therefore duly confirmed by this body. On the appointment of Mr. Joaquin P. Paris to serve as a planning representative alternate of Guam Historic Preservation Review Board, all in favor, please raise your hand. Mr. Joaquin P. Paris received 11 votes to serve as the planning representative alternate of the Guam Historic Preservation Review Board and is duly confirmed by this body. Polly Eric Forbes to serve as the historic representative of the Guam Historic Preservation Review Board, all in favor, please raise your hand. Only one hand, so okay, not two. Polly Eric Forbes received 11 votes times 2, 22, okay, to serve as a historic representative of Guam Historic Preservation Review Board. He is duly confirmed by this body. Michael W. Macchio to serve as an architect representative of the Guam Historic Preservation Review Board. All in favor, please raise your hand. Mr. Michael W. Macchio received 11 votes to serve as an architect representative of the Guam Historic Preservation Review Board, and he is duly confirmed by this body. My apologies, I received a correction then for Mr. Macchio. It was 10 votes to serve as an architect representative of the Guam Preservation Review Board. So, but he is still duly confirmed by this body. I'm sorry, so, okay, so, yes, before gavel it in. Yes,
I
Senator.
could vote yes. Sorry,
Okay.
Madam Speaker.
All right, so we'll correct that. So then it is 11 votes then in favor of Mr. Michael W. Macchio to serve as an architect representative of the Guam Historic Preservation Review Board. So Mr. Michael Macchio is duly confirmed by this body. On the confirmation of Rebecca A.R. Duenas to serve as a Chamorro Culture Representative alternate of the Guam Historic Preservation Review Board, all in favor, please raise your hand. Ms. Rebecca A.R. Duenas received 11 votes to serve as the Chamorro Culture Representative alternate of the Guam Historic Preservation Review Board, and she's duly confirmed by this body. On the confirmation of Mr. David R. Jimenez to serve as a member of the Board of Equalization, all in favor, please raise your hand. Mr. David R. Jimenez received 11 votes to serve as the member of the Board of Equalization, and he's duly confirmed by this body. Thank you very much, Senators. That completes the voting file list. Senator Assistant Majority Leader, Senator Tom Abbott, for a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I move to adjourn this session, subject to your call.
On that motion, without any objection, this legislature is adjourned, subject to the call of the Speaker.